Good afternoon, Bill. I wanted to take a moment here and re-review the lesson we did the other day here. This is going to be my third time attempting to do this. Um, I hope everything does go through, and I hope everything does work here. As we go through and as we talk about today, um, what we initially looked at and what we try to do is we worked on a few basic things, trying to get a little more consistency, one, in your golf swing, and two, giving you a little bit better ability to, one, take the club back, and two, get the swing and the path of the swing coming back and uh, delivering itself back at the ball. Uh, One on the same plane, one on the same path, and one in the same direction, allowing you to be a little more consistent in your shot patterns and in your shot making ability. So, as we do a brief overview of your golf swing here, one of the things we see here is one initial, very active initial position of the golf swing, and that's a lot very active with the wrist here. You can almost see the club kind of lift up and want to go up and out and then around. Now, when I say up and out and around, you can actually see the golf club want to come out this way and then around. You almost kind of follow that path. Now, at the same time as you do this, you can kind of watch your spine angle. Now, from what I remember when we were discussing things about any type of injuries or any type of physical limitations, we didn't discuss anything about a severe lower back issue, severe upper back issue, anything that would tend to hinder your initial turn or initial takeaway of the golf club as you take the club back. So initially, what happens here, you kind of watch how you come out of your position by taking the club up and around. And you can kind of watch how that neck and that head kind of rise up as you go back. The club then, thus in turn, kind of goes back behind you. And when I say it goes back behind you, this is what I'm talking about here. We're going to get a little model up here and show you someone as simple as Adam Scott. You know, Adam Scott's doing pretty well in the Masters here today. But as we take a look here, you can watch Adam as I draw a straight line up his back here, and watch his golf club here. I'm going to just draw a line coming straight back. And just kind of watch as the club comes down the line, almost like it's coming up. Now, at any point, did you see his back or his head rise up out of position when we're right here halfway back? Now, Adam, great fundamental golf swing. When we go back, we can even go back down the line. Here's Bernard Longer, another gentleman doing well in the Masters today. Watch his golf swing as well. Very fundamental, as we come back. Here and here. Look here. When we see this position, what we initially see in this case, one, we can see how you came up out of the position, and then two, we can watch how these hands and these arms are going back or aiming back around your body. Let's turn the butt of the club aiming out here towards right field somewhere. You can almost see a direct line of that kind of pointing out that direction. Compared to Bernard here, arms straight down, right underneath of you, right in front of you still. His club then going up over this right shoulder. Whereas you can kind of see here, as you go to do that, there's another position of our body lifting up out of position. Look how much change in our spine angle has occurred. And actually, let me do this in a different color so you can see, just that initial position here. Night and day difference over where we started here in the first initial yellow line, and in two, we're not even at the top of your golf swing. We're up here now. Now look at Bernard. He's roughly turned around his spine as he's taking that club up and over his spine. Up and over his right shoulder. I said spine, but up and over his right shoulder. So then, as you go to come down, now I'm going to draw I'll draw a different line here, and I'm trying to keep all these lines consistent. But this here, and what we're going to do this one second. Just trying to get us some consistency here where we can see everything. Now, let's draw our line back here and kind of show our plane initially where we're at here and where you go to deliver the club at now. So now as we start to deliver the club back down, now we got a little bit of a lunge coming down into that position, and we redirect the golf club coming down on a completely different path, different plane. Now, when we turn you sideways, I'm going to put Bernard back down here and kind of show you what we're ideally going to try to go to here. We're here, and then hands come back down, club comes back down on that same plane, body, hips turning through our position. You know, look at the two different positions here. We make impact here. Look at your hips. Little no turn, but what we will see as we bring you back up here on the side is that little bit of a lunge or a little bit of a forward movement on it as we take the club back. Draw this line right here. Right there. First that lift up, we pull back. And then we kind of flip the hands at it right about there. And you can see right about here you start releasing your club, releasing your hands. So right at about here, the club is completely released. Hands are flipping through. Thus in turn you see that club kind of bowing forward. Hips are not all the way turned through like we'd like to see, or turning forward, but initially that's one of the things we ideally worked on. So as we go through things, now the first thing we kind of worked on was that initial takeaway. Now what I did here is I used just a normal PVC pipe with a light on it, light in both ends. And all I wanted you to do is kind of have a feeling, you know, we had this path here, and I wanted you to be able to take this light, that, you know, if there's imaginary light coming out of that flashlight into this pole, and I want it following right down the line like you see this position, no raising up of the spine here. I'm going to get you back here and just kind of show you as a review. Just here. Just kind of show you, bam, big difference in those two positions. You know, here we are making a good turn, here we're not. You know, club still, but much better in relation to where we were at on the left hand side. Now all I want you really to do is just, you know, 10 to 15 swings, just slowly bringing it back. You know, getting that line, imagining that line coming back down that line. We see here, and then we go up. All right. Another position as we take a look at this. Now, with a golf club, still laid down our paths as we see here on the right hand side, and then especially one I think is a point of reference that worked really well was one at our toe line. Now, by this, all I wanted you to do is slowly bring the club down the path. Push that ball back. Push the ball back. There we go. Night and day difference. Look at our spine angle here compared to our spine angle here. Night and day difference there. But great job there, Bill. That was much better. We saw night and day difference. Now, one thing I did not mention, or one thing that we could do as we do things, but as we see this, you know, night and day difference. And that's all I really want you doing here, is just pushing that ball back. You know, and that ball should be about 10 to 16 inches back behind that center ball. But it's here, going up, and just bringing it down. Just slow moves, slow motions as we're doing this. And that's, you know, back and forth. You know, I kind of call this a waist tie drill. I'm going to kind of give you just a different position of being able to get the club back, coming down its path without moving that head up and down or back and forth. Okay? Now, as we go forward, this was another position then. As we talk about this here, this is when we hit a couple balls. Just try to get your feeling, getting that club moving back. Now, we also talked about your ball position, being conscious of your ball position. Make sure that it wasn't too far forward. As we kind of see here, now this one I think was just a little forward. We'd like to see the irons, mid-irons, low irons all around the middle of the stance. As we start getting higher, longer clubs, I'd like to see that ball move up a little bit in a stance. But initially, that's kind of what we're looking at here. Just small little moves, trying to get that initial takeaway, that initial position where we're not up, moving back, trying to get some movement. So initially, as we look at things here, so the last thing that we kind of talked about here was a little bit of a position as you go to bring the club down, I want you to have the feeling of holding this wrist set just a little bit longer. Now, we'll try to go a little bit, try to emphasize it just a little bit more in the next lesson, but as we talk about this, what we see is right here, and kind of what we also want to talk about here, is as you drive to this left side, is getting that right hip turning into the swing a little bit more, because that's where we lose some of that and get a little bit of that flipping of the hand as we get an impact, because that's a little bit more of where we'd like to see at as we make impact and as we go through. And I think you kind of start feeling that motion, start feeling that position a little bit better, and ideally that's what we want to see. But, simple things, hitting down in the bag, almost feel like, I want you to feel like you're blocking shots dead right, and almost feeling like this right wrist is almost holding its position as it comes down into impact. Okay? So, bam, right in the bag. Now, this was kind of a last kind of a thought, because the first two positions of getting that club going back in the right position and keeping that head kind of centered, feeling that turn around your spine was kind of the main thought of this lesson. But this is something I kind of threw in at the end, just kind of feeling a different position and kind of seeing that. Now, as you work on things, and I hope things came through. I hope, again, this is, like I said, a third attempt of trying to get this to you. But I hope everything does come through. Review this. Let me know what your thoughts are next time we talk or next time we meet. If you have any questions in the meanwhile, shoot me an email. Again, michaelwyattgolf@gmail.com, or give me a call, 314-724-6539. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Michael Wyatt. Today we wanted to talk about the waist tie drill. Now, initially the waist tie drill is going to help us on our occasions that we discussed today about how as we take the golf club back, and we're probably coming back a little too much to the inside. Now, what the idea behind this drill today is initially doing it very slow, just like we're working out. We're not going to do it fast. We're not going to do it, we're doing all kinds of push-ups back and forth really fast, but the whole point of this is the muscle memory. Trying to learn that as we take the club back, we're almost handing the club back to us. So essentially what it initially looks like is as we take the ball back, we're going to set up to it like we normally do. We're going to initially push back with our left hand, and as we push back with our left hand, we're going to almost take the club right back on the same line, and then as the club comes up, we're going to feel the toe of the club go up to the top of the sky. Now, as we come back down, we're going to feel the left hand pull back down. We're going to feel just initially the body's going to naturally turn through, but as the club comes down the line, it's going to extend out towards the target and just almost extend out to the exact same point that it was on the right-hand side. Now, I'll show you to the face on here a little bit what it looks like as well. It is basically the same thing, but you'll see it on the side view now. Now, as we do this, it's very simple. We're going to push back, like we said, with the left hand as we push the ball back, nice and slow as we come up. And it should look like, if you look right down the line and followed your head down the line, you should see almost that club extending right straight down the line, toe being up. Now, as we come back through, we're going to pull back down with the left hand, down through impact, extend down the line to our target. Now, what I'd like for you to do is do 2 sets of 20 reps with these, seeing the initial nice and slow, taking a break each time. You don't have to do them, like I said, nice and fast, but as we do it nice and slow each time, we do 2 sets of 20, just like we're playing 18 holes of golf. We've got our front 9 for the first set, and the second set's going to be our back 9. If you have any questions, like I said, feel free to give me a call at the store. Thank you.